What's better than a cell phone case? Sure, they're a great means of protecting our pricey devices, but they can also add a splash of color, a pop of personality, bringing together the functional and the fun in one protective package. I'm Unboxer of Worlds, and today I'm going to be looking at two cases for the Google Pixel 9a. And to be a little more accurate, these are actually both the same case, but in two different colors. This is the Dual Guard case from Crave. Now, Crave was cool enough to send me both of these cases free of charge for the purposes of making this review video. We've got one in berry, we've got one in forest green. I'm going to unbox one, I'm going to look at both of them, and we're going to see what's going on here. So this is a two-part case. It has a softer inner shell with a harder outer shell that come together to protect your device. So I've been looking at the berry-colored Dual Guard case so far, but that's not the only one I've got because Crave was cool enough to also send over this forest green case. It comes in a very slim package. You see the phone displayed on the front. And according to the back, this case is strong, reliable, and protective. Now you're also going to see it says unbeatable warranty, and that's because these cases do come with a lifetime warranty, which is very awesome. So what do you say we unbox it? Pretty straightforward unboxing experience, and there's the case in this awesome forest green colorway from Crave. The case has some protective foam inside, we'll knock that out. So as I said, this is a dual layer case. The interior layer here is softer and comes in a slightly deeper shade of green than the harder exterior portion of the case. And just to demonstrate, I'm going to pull these apart so you can see both layers. And there you go. As you can see, the inside is kind of flexible, while the outside is more rigid, and they come together to protect your phone. So you could see this pattern on the back of the case, and you could feel it too, so it's both tactile and visually interesting. But also visually interesting is this two-tone effect, because the inner case is a slightly deeper color than the outer case, and you combine that with these dark button covers, and it's a very cool look. And those button covers, by the way, are pretty tactile in and of themselves. And you've got all the necessary cutouts for your ports and microphones and all that. And listen to this. That sounds pretty strong to me. So why don't I move the Pixel 9a from the berry case into the forest green case so we can see how that process is. There's the Pixel 9a in all of its glory. So this is my first time placing the Pixel 9a in this forest green case. And it does take a little bit of strength to get it in there, which I guess is a good thing. And there it is, folks. A nice snug fit, and everything lines up beautifully. So this case doesn't really add a lot of bulk to the phone, and it does feel suitably protected. Now given I haven't done any drop tests, but it does feel pretty good. Now something that's very cool, you'll notice that the camera, for starters, it's completely unobstructed, but it's also got this raised edge around it, so that it almost looks like the camera is at the bottom of a shallow well. What's cool about that is when you put the phone down on a table, the camera lens is no longer directly in contact with that surface, so you have a little bit of extra protection there, which is great. I also like how the that inner layer around the camera kind of adds to that two-tone pop. Very nice. And like I said before, the buttons feel great in this case. So one of the questions I see in the comments for a lot of phone case reviews is whether or not the sides of the case are loose around the phone. Well, they're definitely not loose on the Dual Guard, at least not mine. You know, the case feels like it's definitely hugging the phone in a very secure fashion. There's a little bit of flex, but nothing too crazy. And I've only been using these cases for a few days, but so far nothing has changed. The case feels really good, and the sides of the case remain very tight around the phone. And just like how the camera had a raised edge around it, the same is true of the screen of the phone. There's this nice raised edge all around the screen, so if you put it face down on the tabletop, it has a nice buffer zone of protection. So while I take this phone out of the case, let me ask you a question. Are you getting value out of this content? Because if you are, I'd really appreciate it if you'd consider subscribing to Unboxer of Worlds, hitting the like button, and leaving me a comment. Also, if you like this phone case and you want to buy your own, there's a link in the description. So another important question to ask is whether or not you can still use wireless charging with these Dual Guard cases from Crave. And I'm going to test that out right now. I have the Pixel Stand 2nd Gen here, and I'm going to take my Pixel 9a in the Crave Dual Guard case, put it on the Pixel charging stand. Will it charge? Boom. Look at that, folks. It is charging through the case. So I've been using these cases for about a week now. I really wanted to try them out before I gave them my Unboxer of Worlds stamp of approval. And I gotta be honest, so far I'm liking them both. The forest green is great, the berry color is great, it also has its own two-tone, which is very nice. All the same features as the green one. And also, Crave makes all kinds of different cases for all kinds of different phones, and there are many other colors to choose from than just these two here. So check out their website, you might find something you really like. You might also really like my Pixel Stand 2nd Gen unboxing, or some of my other videos, so check out my channel, and have a good time, folks. Thanks again to Crave, and I'll catch you all later.